The gap up continuation strategy, here is your criteria. Write it down. Criteria number 1, the stock must have gapped up that day. Criteria number 2, the first 5-minute candle needs to be green. Criteria number 3, you want to wait for 20 to 50 minutes before taking an entry. Criteria number 4, you're going to look for consolidation near the high of day. That consolidation, by the way, is going to be found on the 5-minute time frame, and you're looking for anywhere between 3 to 7 5-minute candles that are moving sideways. And criteria number 5 is that the consolidation that you're looking for needs to be occurring above the 9 EMA on the 5-minute time frame. These criteria being met is really important, but the only one that we can be a little bit flexible on is the 20-minute wait time. It's not mandatory that you take an entry between the 20 to 50 minute mark. That's just the recommended time. But the stock may present an opportunity before 20 minutes or even after 20 minutes. And here's an example of that right here. We're on the 5-minute time frame for MU. Let's see if this gap and go or this gap up and continuation matches our criteria. Criteria number 1, it needs to gap up. Well, we see that it's gapped up because our previous day's closing price is noted by this green line down here. So this would be your gap, aka your gap up. Criteria number 2, first 5-minute candle must be green. That is indeed green. What this is going to do is set the tone for the rest of the day. Criteria number 3, we're going to wait 20 to 50 minutes before taking an entry, but there could be exceptions to this rule, and this is one of those exceptions. In this case, we are waiting nearly 2 hours before we see that consolidation. And the next criteria that we're looking for is consolidation near the high of day, which we have right here. So let's go ahead and draw a trend line at the high of day. That's just going to be that wick, and we're going to look for our consolidation, which is going to be all of this consolidation here. Next criteria is that consolidation must be happening above the 9 EMA, which is this light blue line, and indeed it is. All of that consolidation is occurring above the 9 EMA, and so where we want to take our entry is on a break of the high of day, which would likely be on this candle here or on this candle here. Now, your stop loss for this trade will be placed just below the consolidation, and your price target is going to be any move into the high of day. Therefore, if you're taking the entry right here, your stop loss is going to be placed down here at the low of the consolidation, and your price target is going to be this move up into the high of day. It's very important that we wait for this to set up, because if we see this open up and go green right away and we take the entry over here very early on without waiting for that 20-minute mark at a minimum, you're likely getting stopped out as this pulls back just to watch it run in your favor later on. Here's another example for you. We're on Meta, 5-minute time frame. Let's run through the criteria and see if the gap and continuation will fit here. So criteria 1, the stock has to have gapped up that day. We see that it's gapped up. It's opening well above the previous day's closing price noted by this green line. So that's going to be your gap. Criteria number 2, first 5-minute candle needs to be green. That works. Criteria number 3, we got to wait for 20 to 50 minutes, recommended, to look for consolidation. Criteria number 4, we want to look for consolidation near the high of day. So this is your high of day. We're looking for the consolidation here. We're getting that consolidation. Typically, you want to see anywhere between 3 to 7 5-minute candles moving sideways. This consolidation also needs to be happening above the 9 EMA, which is that blue line, and it is. So if you can't see it clearly, there's your consolidation. Your entry is going to be on a break of the high of day, which is on this candle here. And your stop loss is going to be placed just below the low of that consolidation, and your price target is going to be anything up into the high of day. This is a very simple yet effective strategy that you can implement. However, I will say that it is very specific. It's super important that your criteria on the stock are being met at every stage for this gap and go strategy to be applicable. So I encourage you, go out there and back test it. Go out there and find some gap ups and see if you can apply this strategy to some of those gap ups. The more that you practice recognizing this stuff while market is closed, the better that you're going to be at recognizing it when the market is open. Hope the video has helped and that you've learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.